Goblin launch detected.
This video is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. If you're looking for cards in the US, look no further, as you can use the promo code MTGMUDSTA to get you 5% off anything on the site. Or if you're in Canada like me, you can use the same promo code at Multizone to get 10% off your orders of singles. If cards aren't what you're looking for, Original Magic Art has playmats, tokens, and sweet art that you can use that same promo code to help you get 5% off your order there. If you're looking to bling out your cards, using Alter Sleeves is a great way to do so, and you can click the affiliate link in my About section to help out the channel as you make an order. And if you just want to help out the channel, you can always consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month and join the generic Goblin Gang. Hey gang, and welcome back. Today's game is another multi-zone matchup, and Miguel has built the new Runo deck, keeping Viscera Seer, Dimir Guildgate, 2 Swamps, an Island, Exotic Orchard, and a Diregraph Horde. Dom is playing the Angry Jellybean, Omnath, keeping Scalding Tarn, 2 Forests, Mountain, Shatterskull Smashing, Nature's Lore, and Azusa. New to the channel is Jesse, one of the employees at Multizone, and he's playing Zurzoth. He keeps a Cavern of Souls, 2 Mountains, Valakut, Havoc Devils, and a Vengeful Devil. Maxwell has brought his newly sleeved up Beledros deck, keeping a Swamp, Blood Artist, Command Tower, Fortifying Drought, Rushed Rebirth, Putrefy, and Adventurous Impulse. Maxwell wins the die roll and starts us off. He plays a Command Tower for turn and taps it for a green to cast Adventurous Impulse. He reveals a Bloodspore Thrinax and passes to Dom. Dom just plays a Scalding Tarn. Jesse plays a tap Valakut. Miguel plays a Swamp and then pays 1 black for a Viscera Seer. Maxwell also plays a Swamp and taps 2 for a Blood Artist. While he's doing this, Dom has cracked his Tarn to lose 1 and goes to find a Taiga. Dom plays a Forest and 2 mana gets him a Nature's Lore, going to find a Forest card to put to field. Jesse plays a Cavern of Souls, naming Devil, and then casts a Vengeful Devil and passes to Miguel. Miguel plays a tapped Dimir Guildgate and just passes to Maxwell. Maxwell plays a Radiant Fountain for turn and gains 2 as it enters. Dom plays a Forest and then casts Azusa. He's now able to play some extra lands and puts out a Forest and a Mountain, passing. Jesse plays a Mountain and has enough mana for his commander, Zurzoth. He then swings the Vengeful Demon at Maxwell, which has them both drawing a card and then discarding a card at random. Zurzoth gets to see this, and as a result makes Jesse a token. Miguel plays an Island and is able to cast his commander, Runo, and pass his turn. Maxwell plays a Swamp and casts a Soul Ring. With nothing else, he passes. Dom draws and has to pass. Jesse plays a Mountain for turn and taps 2 mana for an Ankh of Mishra. He then goes to combat, swinging Zurzoth at Miguel, the Vengeful Devil at Maxwell, and a token at Dom. This triggers Zurzoth's ability, and they all draw a card and discard a card, which Zurzoth sees and makes Jesse 3 more Devil tokens. In response though, before drawing, Dom casts Court of Calling and taps his lands and Azusa to put to board a Purphoros. Maxwell and Dom then take the damage, while Miguel blocks with Runo. Miguel untaps and plays a land. It's a Swamp, and he takes 2 from the Ankh's trigger, and he then taps 2 mana to cast Deadly Dispute, sacrificing his Viscera Seer. This lets him draw 2 cards and make a treasure. Maxwell draws and casts a Healing Technique in his main phase, using the Demonstrate ability to make a copy, and has Miguel get the copy. Miguel's copy resolves first, and he brings back Garuda, gaining 6 life. Maxwell then gets back Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, and his Thrinax, gaining a total of 4. Maxwell then plays the Yavimaya, taking 2 from the Ankh, and passes. Dom draws, but seems to be missing lands. He casts a Shatterskull Smashing, where X is 4, and deals enough damage to take out Zurzoth and the Vengeful Devil, and then passes to Jesse. Jesse plays a mountain and also takes 2. He then casts a Soul Ring and moves to recast his commander. He declares he'll move to combat once it's resolved, but before moving to declare attackers, Maxwell uses Putrefy to take out Zurzoth. Maxwell also gets a Drain token from the Blood Artist and uses it on Dom. Miguel has a Swamp come in and takes 2. He then taps enough mana to bring out Gyruda, which has his opponents each milling their top 4. Miguel can bring back an even costing creature from among them, and chooses his own Slyn Voda, the Rising Deep, to put to field. Miguel then swings Runo at Maxwell, who doesn't block, and Miguel passes after damage. Maxwell plays a Forest for turn and takes 2. He has enough to tap out for Beledros, and then ships the turn to Dom. Dom's upkeep has Maxwell making a Pest token thanks to Beledros, and in his main phase, Dom then casts a Valakut Exploration and passes to Jesse. Jesse untaps, and Maxwell gets a Pest token. Jesse then plays a mountain and takes 2. He taps the Soul Ring and some lands to recast Zurzoth, and declares he'll go to combat. Dom stops him before moving to declare attackers, and uses Beast Within on Beledros. This gives Maxwell a 3/3 Beast token, but also a Blood Artist trigger which he uses to drain Dom for 1 again with. Jesse then swings a token apiece at each of his opponents, and the whole table draws a card and then randomly discards 1. This has Jesse then making 3 more Devil tokens, and Jesse's very sad as he discards his Hellrider. The tokens are then blocked, with Jesse using their On Death trigger to deal 1 to each of his opponents, while Maxwell continues to drain Dom with 3 more Blood Artist triggers. Miguel plays an island and takes 2. He taps 2 blue to cast Flood of Recollection and puts back to hand Deadly Dispute and passes. Maxwell goes hard in his main phase with a Natural Order, sacrificing a Pest token. He gains 1 from it dying and drains Dom again thanks to the Blood Artist. He then goes to find a green creature, putting to field a Verdant Sun's Avatar. It enters, and he gains 5 life. Maxwell then delves away some of his graveyard, and taps some of his creatures for Convoke to help cast Hogak, which the Verdant Sun's Avatar sees and gains him 8 life. He then taps 4 mana for a Daemogoth Titan, gaining another 10. With nothing else, he passes to Dom. Dom draws, and for a land-based deck, doesn't seem to have that many. He plays at a Garruk's Uprising and has to pass. Jesse taps 3 in his main phase for a Mana Flare, and things get a bit wild. 2 lands make him 4 mana that's needed for Wildfire Devils, and he rolls to see who they'll target as it enters. 6 has him targeting Dom, and Dom gets to pick what he exiles, exiling his copy of Beast Within for Jesse, with the promise that Jesse uses it on someone else. Jesse is happy to oblige to this by blowing up the Verdant Sun's Avatar, and getting Maxwell another 3/3 Beast. Jesse then taps more mana for Devil's Playground, making 4 more Devil tokens. Jesse then quick steps to combat, but Miguel wants to use a piece of removal on Zurzoth before moving to the phase, and with his commander gone, Jesse just passes. Miguel untaps and looks at his top card. It's still not a creature and he can't transform Runo, so he plays an island for turn and takes 2. Miguel then casts a Sepulchral Primordial, bringing back the Verdant Sun's Avatar, Craterhoof from Dom, and the Havoc Devils from Jesse. The Avatar sees them all come in, but Miguel decides to resolve the Hoof trigger first. His creatures get pumped by +7/+7, and Miguel gains 34 life. Miguel then goes to combat and swings his team at Maxwell. Maxwell doesn't block and takes a total of 48, 8 of which is from Runo. Miguel's second main phase has him recasting that Deadly Dispute and sacrifice the Havoc Devil. He draws 2 and makes another treasure token. This time around, Maxwell decides to drain Miguel with the Blood Artist trigger. Miguel then brings out a Diregraph Horde, gaining 4 life from the Avatar, and then making 2 Decayed Zombie tokens and exiling 2 cards from random graveyards, and gaining 4 more life. Maxwell taps enough to recast Beledros, and still has 1 mana floating. He uses that and another mana for a Vain Witch Coven, and ships the turn to Dom. Dom untaps, and Maxwell gets a Pest token before Dom moves to draw. Dom then taps 4 lands for 8 mana, and brings out the Angry Jellybean. With his commander entering the battlefield, he deals 2 to his opponents from Perforos and draws a card from Garruk's Uprising. Dom then has mana floating still, and taps his 2 remaining lands for a doubling season, and once that's done, plays a mountain. He gets 2 tokens, which each trigger Perforos for a total of 4, and draws 2 cards as they enter. He also exiles a Scapeshift to the Valakut's Exploration from seeing a land come into play. Dom then plays his second land for turn, another mountain, and exiles another card to the Exploration trigger, makes 2 more tokens, which in turn deal 4 to his opponents and draw him 2 more cards. Dom then plays his third land for turn thanks to Azusa being there, and exiles a card to the Valakut Exploration, makes 2 tokens, deals 4 to his opponents, and draws 2. Dom then taps his 3 untapped lands for 6 mana, and keeps 2 floating as he casts the earlier exiled Scapeshift. He sacrifices all of his lands, going to find 9 from his library to put onto field. One of them is a Dryad Arbor, which will deal 2 just by itself, plus make 2 tokens who will deal 4, and then he gets to make another 16 tokens, not to mention exiling a bunch of cards to the Valakut's Exploration, which at the end of turn will deal damage to his opponents. Just from the Perforos triggers from the tokens coming in, Jesse and Maxwell unfortunately get taken out, and Dom lets Miguel know that he's got a Blasphemous Act in hand, and between the tokens dying, which has Omnath bolting Miguel, Miguel knows he's done for and scoops it up. Game review time. So once again, I think people underestimated someone who was behind. In this case, Dom was able to get some pretty sweet plays, especially once the mana doubler was out with his Omnath deck. He did get dangerously close to dying because of that Ankh of Mishra, but the reality of it is, as soon as Jesse died, I think he was in the clear to win. It's a shame that Miguel's Runo deck never flipped, and he wasn't able to do very much with it, outside of casting some Krakens and Leviathans himself from hand. I'm also surprised that Maxwell never bothered to use Beledros' activated ability even once, considering how high his life total was. I'm not too sure what was in his hand though, so maybe if he only had lands, it makes a bit more sense. Jesse, on the other hand, certainly seemed to be doing a lot of stuff and getting a ton of devils. It's a shame though that when you die, all of your triggers get removed, because he probably could have killed Dom with those Devil's Dying triggers, but unfortunately, they weren't there anymore. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, Cool Stuff Inc., Multizone, Original Magic Art, and Alter Sleeves. But it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.